You're listening to the Big Sci Fi Podcast,
the biggest sci-fi podcast in the galaxy.
You're listening to the Big Sci Fi Podcast, the biggest sci-fi podcast in the galaxy, with Adina, Brian, Cris, and Steve. We're a part of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network, and we're having more fun than ever celebrating our 10th season and 4 years of friendship talking all things science fiction. Calling all sci-fi fans, you're invited to the party. Let's have some fun.
Hello and welcome back to the Big Sci Fi Podcast, where we talk all things sci-fi. On this show, we get nerdy, we get spicy, and sometimes we laugh hysterically. Today, I want to talk about a certain Star Trek film where Captain Kirk and crew face off against the legendary Khan. If you think we're talking about the Wrath of Khan, you'd be wrong. We're talking about the underrated film Star Trek Into Darkness. To help me analyze this film in excruciating detail are my usual co-hosts, Brian Donahue and Steve Merkin. How are you both doing today?
Doing good.
Fine.
Really good. We're missing Adina, though. She's on that Star Trek cruise as we're recording.
Yes, on the Star Trek cruise, and I'm seeing all the posts on Facebook and seeing what it would be like to be in a pool, relaxing, and then just suddenly to look up and see Wrath of Khan is playing. That's the life. One day I want to get there, but not today. But we're not on the cruise, but we are at least talking about Star Trek. And as I said before, we are talking about Star Trek Into Darkness. So I want to go around our usual kind of procedure. Mm-hmm. When was the first time you saw it? And what was your impression of it watching it this time?
Okay, well, I'll go first and just say that I saw it in the theater when it debuted. I don't know if it was opening weekend or not, but I did go to see it. I was intrigued from watching the previews as to what they were going to do or how they were going to handle this very unique character of Khan in the JJ universe. And again, watching it again this weekend with my wife Elaine, I still thoroughly enjoy it.
That's good. How about you, Brian?
Yeah, I saw it probably on opening, within a week of it opening. No, I'm saying that. It could have been 2 weeks. But it was when it originally debuted in theaters. Saw it with my wife and two other couples of ours that are close friends, and had a blast. And I remember walking out of the theater and to all of us, and really my wife and one of the other ladies are not like huge Trekkies. The rest of us kind of are, but we walked out of that theater saying things like, I loved every second of that movie. That was the first impression, and we'll talk about it as it's seasoned and aged and all that stuff. But I remember initially going, I loved it. What a good film. So,
well, the audience kind of agreed with us because it earned almost $500 million at the box office on what was a nearly $200 million budget. So 2 for 1. I know they usually like to shoot for 3 to 1 or more, but I think 2 to 1 is much better than films that didn't even make production costs. So
yeah, right. For sure. Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I'm pretty sure I saw this on Friday, the opening Friday. I saw it with my buddy Kale, who's my loyal movie guy. He's not a Trekkie. He might be a Trekkie now. I'm not sure because he knows a lot about it through me, and he's watched I think he's seen all the movies. And anytime a new Star Trek movie comes out, he'll be with me. Cool. I think he liked it. I loved it. I was in. I remember like all the build up to the movie and like not the controversy around Khan, but I remember liking it and just really having a good time with it.
Yeah, I think this is a film. I love that you use the word underrated. Because I watched it a couple months ago with my son Brody Tiberius, as he has a new interest in Star Trek, and which is a lot of fun. But I remember watching it with him just a short while ago and going, my gosh, I remember why I walked out of the theater saying I loved every second of that movie. There are things definitely that I see now that I go, oh, I wish they would have done this. I wish they wouldn't have done that, whatever. But all in all, I am reminded of how good a film this is. So I think you're correct, Cris.
There was a fellow that worked at Children's Hospital. His name was Gus, and Gus was a big Star Trek fan, but even a bigger Star Wars fan, to the point where he named his first son Luke. And that is the reason why, much like you have named your son middle name Tiberius, he was, a true Star Wars fan, but he enjoyed Star Trek very much. And we used to talk about it. And when this movie came out, he absolutely hated it.
Really?
Hated it. Yes. And I'm going, Gus, why? He goes, this movie is a travesty. It takes the entire Khan story. It's horrible what they've done. I don't know why anyone would like. It was one of those moments where you say, like, I'm not going to fight this argument. It's a pointless argument. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but come on. And there was a lot of blowback to this movie as well, because of the fact that they took something iconic as Khan and changed the entire story. But that's okay, I think, because this is a different timeline.
You see, this is what I think is so interesting. I think people had an issue with it being Khan and being a very different Khan. But there was also, I don't remember if you guys remember this at all when this movie was coming out or before it was. I'm trying to remember, like, the timeline wise. It might have been like 2011, 2012, we started hearing about it. And there was all these interviews with J.J. Abrams basically denying that it was Khan. He's like, no, it's not Khan. It's John Harrison. It's not Khan. It's not Khan. And then I think people kind of felt like, well, we all knew it was Khan. So why did you go out of your way to say it wasn't and act like it was a big surprise when we all knew that? So I feel like maybe that was part of the backlash. Was that before the movie came out that the word got out about it, or was it after the movie came out that he made this defense? No, it was before the movie came out. So there was like all these rumors that it was Khan, and then I think he had to go into like PR denial mode and being like, no, it's not Khan, it's not, because that's meant to be a big surprise in the movie.
Right.
So I think people felt like, okay, why are you denying that when it's so obviously Khan? But I think your friend, in terms of like how he felt about it, is how a lot of Trekkies feel about it. I feel like it's only been the last like 2 or 3 years I started to meet other people who are also like, hey, yeah, Into Darkness is actually really good. Yeah. And I don't know really if it is down to the fact that Khan's so different. I guess we can just jump into the Khan question, because I think that's like the thing that people take away from it is that, oh, it's Khan, but it's Benedict Cumberbatch who is British. So why is he Khan all of a sudden?
I agree with you, Cris. I think that is probably the major thing that especially diehard Trek fans who will, no matter what new Trek films come out, always rate Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan as the greatest all-time Trek film. I think that it does pose an issue for Trekkies who are hungry for fresh new stories. If I have an argument against this, I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he plays the character superbly for what he was given, how it's written. I have no problems with Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he brought viewers to the film. Non-Star Trek fans who are Benedict Cumberbatch fans probably came and watched this movie. Hopefully became kind of Trekkies, at least on some level, as a result. But for me, if I have a problem with this Khan story, and even with the whole timeline thing, which I thought was a genius move by J.J. Abrams in the team for the 2009 Trek film, I think it just opened the door for them to go wherever they would want to go. The problem I have with this, and probably a lot of Star Trek fans, is why couldn't you come up with a fresh story? Why did you even have to rehash and go here to one of the most beloved Star Trek villains of all time, legendary Khan? Why couldn't you go a different route? Is this really the only place your creativity could go? And I think that's what people have an issue with. It's not that it's done poorly. I just think, like your friend Steve, why did they have to mess with it? Why couldn't they do something else or have another character maybe that is less beloved as Khan. You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right, Brian, because in the 2009 Star Trek film by JJ, they created a new storyline that didn't exist. And to the point of Kirk is born in space. He's not born in Iowa. The Enterprise is built on Earth, not in outer space. You have Romulans from the future coming into the current story or point of time. You have Leonard Nimoy reprising himself as Spock against the new Spock. It was something brand new. And so by making it brand new, that was accepted. But you're absolutely right, Brian. Had they decided to just continue on with their own storylines and not touch one of the third rails of Star Trek, which is Khan, they might have had a better response from the Trek audience. But then again, the next film, Beyond, is an entirely new storyline, but still touching on some prior tropes.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem. I think there's a saying, there's nothing new under the sun, right? I think that to a certain point, there's always going to be, especially in Star Trek, because we have this huge catalog of stories and characters and aliens. Like, there's always going to be something that harkens back or that touches on even lightly or loosely. It's a difficult task to write something fresh and new, for sure. But I think that it just feels like Khan was just really easy. Now I know I've heard JJ also say like he just he did it as a love offering to Khan. Like he felt like this was, exciting. And I think there are plenty of fans, we have to be fair, guys, who loved every second of this, who have no problems with it, who go right to the whole, hey guys, chill out. It's now a different timeline. It's okay that he's not of Indian descent too. It's okay that he doesn't look like Ricardo Montalban. It's okay that the story's a little different. Just enjoy it. It's new Trek, for crying out loud,
Yeah, and I fall in the middle where like my critical Star Trek hat is like, okay, they should have either picked him. He should have been someone unrelated to Khan, or just maybe been one of like Khan's henchmen or followers. I feel like that could have been interesting without stepping on Khan.
Yeah, because you're right. Because it wasn't Kirk that found him; it was the admiral who finds him in space and recruits him. And you could have easily had been anyone else, and he say, who are you? I'm a follower of Khan, and he's just as tough, or someone else. Go ahead.
Oh
Chris.
When I put on my fun Trek hat or my less critical, I'm just here to have a good time, I've come around. Like, even though in the first time I saw it, I was a bit bothered by it, but still liked it. Whereas now, I can see why people are annoyed by it, but I'm just kind of like, you know what? I still love the movie, and it's one that I can just turn on and relax and really not stress too much about. It doesn't, I don't watch it and then go every single time. I'm like, oh my gosh, they shouldn't have done this. I'm like, you know what? I like this portrayal. Granted, it would have been better if they'd been someone else, another follower. But I think for the most part, they nailed it. And I love his delivery of lines in the movie. And his presence is really, really good.
Yeah, Cumberbatch is a master.
Yeah.
That's good, Steve. I was right there. I was right there in that moment. I was in the film.
Yes. It's just like, oh my God, he is evil, And yes, he does play the Superman. He defeats an entire group of Klingon soldiers literally single-handedly. But then you can also see that, he's playing good guy, bad guy in so many different scenes. He's evil. He kills Pike and many other members of this, Star Trek hierarchy. But then again, he comes across as like, okay, he's here to help us. What's going on? And I just like the way that Benedict switches character and does it so fluidly.
Yeah, he's a genius actor. He's really good at everything he's been in.
Did you ever see his series about when he played Sherlock Holmes?
Oh yeah,
I've seen two or three episodes. Brilliant,
just good. superb. And he was recently in a film called The Roses, a remake of The War of the Roses, and he is great. I mean,
I wonder if it's worth watching.
Oh, it is. It's hilarious.
That movie's too dark. Like I was like, man, that ending is one of the most depressing endings ever. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that again.
They have a new depressing ending. Okay, let's put it that way.
But one thing,
yeah. But anyway, I digress. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to.
I was going to say
tangent off there.
Yeah, I was watching this with Dill. We ended up watching half of it, and then she's like, I want to go back and rewatch 2009. So we ended up doing that instead.
Okay.
But I bring this up only to say the moment when they're in the conference room and Kirk is kind of figuring out that Khan's going to attack them, he had a lot of time to say, hey, everybody get out. And Dill was like, why doesn't he just say, everybody get out? I'll explain on the way. Because he was like, well, aren't we all like Starfleet mandates that if, we get an attack, we're all supposed to be here. There's some quiet conversation. Then the helicopter thing comes up. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, there's like a few minutes where he could be like, guys, we got to get out of here. Just wanted to bring that up because Dill was just great point.
Yeah.
But leave. Like, just say, get out. I'll explain on the way.
But Chris, if he did that, they wouldn't have that great action sequence.
That's also true.
They wouldn't set up Bruce Greenwood, Captain Admiral Pike dying. It's by the way.
And then he could have lived.
I didn't want. That's my biggest qualm with this film. Why are you killing off such a great character? Like, come on.
Yeah. What was the point of that?
I loved him as Christopher Pike, because it was supposed to feed into Kirk's desire to now go chase Khan. It was
right.
This man had become a father figure for him, and I thought it's really one of Chris Pine's best moments in all of Star Trek. And I would put it up there with any moment he's had in acting in any film. He's been in a lot of really great. I really enjoy a lot of his films, but I think it's one of his best moments when he's got that emotion of that great pain of loss, but also now he's going to go kick some Khan butt. Like now he's determined to go get him. So I think it's a great scene.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say the scene where Khan is in the brig and Kirk is speaking directly to him, and you can see that Pine is bringing forward true anger at this guy who killed his mentor, his best friend, the person who believed in him more than anyone else. And it comes across so exceptionally well. The same thing like the scene where they're in the bar together and they're just going over the fight scene from the previous film and having fun with that conversation, that the camaraderie between the two builds to that, so that when he is killed, it has more impact than just another death.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. It's just like, I get the emotional, like it sends him on his mission, but I'm like, I just want more Pike. I like Bruce Greenwood as Pike, and I like that he's so different from the Pike we know and love from Strange New Worlds. And so I wouldn't have minded if somehow he was able to come back and be in the third one. But I get why they did that, so that it could launch him into the more emotional. And now I'm not just going after you because you attacked, innocent people, but you killed my mentor. So now I've got to come for you, which I like.
Yeah, it's a powerful scene. I also loved this film. Features one of my favorite openings of all Star Trek films.
Yes.
I still have to say, and we recently covered Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. I'm going to say that's still my favorite opening sequence, all the way up until he's falling off the mountain.
Right.
But this is probably my second. It's in my top three, because I do love the champagne bottle floating through space in Star Trek Generations too. I think that is just a beautiful sequence. But I love them. They're on this pink wooded planet, and they're trying not to break the Prime Directive, right? And they cause the people, instead of worshiping the scroll, now they're worshiping the Enterprise. I think that is so hysterically funny and Star Trek-y Like that's why the Prime Directive exists, right? Is so that people don't end up worshiping something they just don't understand.
That's
hilarious.
Go ahead, Chris.
That's what I wanted to bring up too, because that's one of my favorite things about the movie is that this is the first time that we see a captain character, violate the Prime Directive and actually get punished. Usually they do it and there's like either they don't mention it or they don't show the actual like disciplinary hearing or whatever, or we get the Strange New World situation where what's his face, Admiral April was like, hey, you violated the Prime Directive and that's horrible. How could you do that? And you should never do that. But by the way, we can't do anything because it's classified. So you're good.
Yeah.
But like, this is the first time we have a character being like, hey, you actually violated the Prime Directive. And now that's a serious thing. It's not just a slap on the wrist. We're taking away the ship from you and you're back to back to the Academy. And so I love that finally we're having a character like a Captain Kirk dealing with a consequence for violating the rule. And I did a video about this and I go off on a tangent. And it's like, I get that we've seen it before with him being demoted to captain, but that was also very much like, hey, we know you like captain anyways more than being an admiral, so we're like giving you what you want. We'll sort of like quote unquote punishing you.
When you saved the world.
Yeah, you saved the world in mitigating circumstance. Yeah.
You brought us humpback whales again.
Yeah.
How can we be mad at that?
We're just going to give you the Enterprise one more time, even though you blew it up in the third film. But that's okay. It's all right.
That's all right. It's all good. Water under the bridge. It's fine. So, I love.
It only costs what? You got $10 billion, $100 million.
Well, clearly they didn't spend very much money on the new ship because it barely worked. But that's Final Frontier.
At least, yeah.
Put together
At least
by monkeys.
They had everything, right? In Generations, it'll be installed on Tuesday.
Right.
But so that's all to say. I love that aspect. How did you guys feel about Kirk being punished and sent to, or being told he's going to go to the Academy, even though obviously he gets the ship back fairly quickly in movie time?
No,
but how did you all feel about it?
I think it was exactly what happened, especially when he is ticked off that his best friend, Spock, went against him. But Spock couldn't lie about what happened. He had to, tell the truth of what actually occurred. And not only was it just he violated the Prime Directive, but he lied.
Yeah.
He lied on official documents. And Spock called him out. And how could you do this to me? And from that point, Spock has to rebuild his trust from Kirk once more. And Kirk has to believe that, you are still my friend and you're here to, you did that not in spite, but because that's just who you are. And I think that was very well.
Under oath these days. Like nobody's doing that in the real world.
I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment on that statement I just said. And advice of my attorney, I recant whatever I just said.
But the thing that always gets me that I find so interesting, and I can see where Kirk's coming from, like, how could you do that? I saved your life. But Pike points out you didn't have to do any of that. All you had to do was survey the planet. No one ordered you to go and stop the volcano. And like, that's technically still violating the Prime Directive. So I always find that fight interesting in that I can see where Kirk's coming from, but I think Spock is in the right. Like, he would assume that, hey, we're reporting this on their official logs. We have to tell the truth, and that's what we do.
Yeah,
it's one of the core principles.
It is. And it's
also, can you do the speech?
No, but it's really hard as a parent with my kids to teach them, because we teach them that lying bad, truth is good, right? Like, you always get yourself in more trouble when you lie. It is better to fess up. It's better to be honest. It's better to admit when you've made a mistake, broken a rule, whatever, been mean to your brother or sister, stolen, cheated, whatever. When it is found out that you lied about it, the punishment is always more severe. And I think that's part of the issue here is Admiral Pike in Starfleet Command see a Kirk who is not humble enough yet to receive correction, to really even admit that he got himself in the situation at all. And as a parent, it's hard to teach the fine line because if I remember, there's scenes between Kirk and Spock talking about the log and why they're there. And I think it's hard when you have a kid who, wants to tell the truth, but at the same time, where is that line where it is where loyalty comes in, and that's what they discuss. In Star Trek, we see this time in and time again, is where loyalty comes in, where maybe you hold your words back or you don't share all of the truth, but is that a lie? Is that a lie of omission?
Yeah, because I feel like it's hard because it's like you expect your boss to tell the truth, and I don't know if maybe they should have had a conversation, or Kirk knowing that Spock will tell the truth, have some sort of conversation. But it's such a hard thing because it's like there's loyalty, but they're not loyal. It's not like Kirk and Spock. This is a much younger. They're still more antagonistic.
Different timeline.
Different timeline.
They're not seasoned. They've only been on a few missions, if anything, and he's not really. He's still a wet behind the ears captain trying to figure out how to do things.
And that's one thing I love about these films is we get to see these characters in a little bit fresher light. Like we get to see them, even on the original series, they were older than they are in these films, right? And so I think that, like you're saying, Steve, we get to see them really feel their way through all of these relationships. There's hints of that great friendship there, but it's not evolved. It's not matured yet. And I think that is what really is exciting about the Kelvin timeline in these characters that we love is they could go any direction. Yeah. They really could go any direction. And I will say another beef I have with this film. We had an episode recently where we need to start talking about beef.
Oh, yeah, the beef.
As part of our movie discussion. But I just, I kind of wish, thinking about Star Trek V, these guys would have played the Uhura Scotty romance more than the Spock Uhura romance. That's a little beef. It's not a big beef. It's there.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. It's funny because the chemistry with Uhura and Scotty, the chemistry with like in the original movies, I feel like their chemistry is very different, and I can believe that more than I could believe the chemistry of the newer characters.
So that's solid. Yep, you're right.
I feel like why am I blanking on her name? Simon Pegg and
Zoe.
Zoe Zeldana.
Zeldana. Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Like I feel like they're good friends. I just can't picture them having a romance. It just doesn't seem to be the chemistry. But her and Spock, I kind of believe, even though it's a little bit strange. It's a very odd thing that they brought it up, but I kind of like that they went with it for a bit and sort of dealt with it in this movie.
And the friction they have between each other over the fact that she was concerned that Spock was going to die in the volcano, and she had thought that he didn't care or that he was ambivalent about life or death. And then you see the scene where he reads Pike's mind just as he's dying, and he realizes this is what death is. And he doesn't want that to happen. He even though he did that beautiful moment where he's got his arms stretched out while he's on the volcano or inside the volcano riding on the boulder. Maybe that's what Darth Vader should have done so he didn't get killed, wiped out in the last of the in the thirds of the
Return
Star
of the
Wars
Jedi
films.
But again, Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah. But again,
just don't jump.
He's prepared to die. He's prepared to give up his life for saving the lives of all the people on the planet. And when he realizes or he explains that to Uhura in the little craft as they're making their way on Kronos, you realize that he does have a human side. Then that human side is, I don't want to die. I didn't want to die. I didn't mean for you to think that, that I was so callous about the whole thing. And they repair their relationship because of that admission. Mm-hmm. Very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that scene. I find I don't like that action scene as much when they get to the actual action scene from that. I usually end up skipping it on my rewatches, but it was well done. And I thought it was a good conversation. And it was a nice emotional moment from Spock to see, again, to show viewers who maybe are just jumping into Trek for the first time that, hey, not all Vulcans are purely logical, and that Vulcans actually do have intense emotion. They just don't regulate it the same way.
Spock works. That's why he's one of the most beloved characters. It's Leonard Nimoy's portrayal of him, for sure. Mm-hmm. But he just had countless opportunities to show that half human side of him, and that's why we connect with the character. If it was all unemotional, emotionless, and stoic, and like more similar to what we see in Enterprise with how they portrayed the Vulcan civilization as a whole, and how humans couldn't understand them. And relate to them very well. Like, I think that's why. I think we love those moments when Spock shows his human side. It's usually pretty daggone powerful and awesome.
Which is why juxtaposing the situation where it's Kirk who dies in the containment field.
Yes.
And not Spock. Yeah. And Spock gets to yell that word that we always think about Kirk saying from Wrath of Khan. That's almost like, whatever.
You can hear it.
If you get a flat tire on the freeway, why do you want to yell?
I think that's another reason, fellas, that Star Trek loyalists and traditionalists did not like it. Like, it's not just the story that they took and changed up, but also they took an icon, because that is an iconic all-time Hollywood movie scene in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, where Kirk yells Khan, and then it pulls away from the moon, and you hear the echo of him yelling. Like, that is an iconic moment, not just in Star Trek lore, but in movie history. I wonder if that's part of why people were frustrated.
You see, I think that's probably true. I always wonder why people feel that. Like, I sort of get it because it's, why would you redo that? But to me, Spock yelling Khan doesn't take away from Kirk yelling Khan. Like, just because the scene exists in this movie doesn't
I agree
impact
100%.
Yeah.
The Wrath of Khan. So I'm always like, I remember even when the Ghostbusters came out with like the all-female Ghostbusters, people were like, it's ruining my childhood. It's like, well, no, the movies are still there. You can still go and watch them. So I don't know. I just always find it interesting that people feel like, because why would they retread that? And I feel like now we've gotten so many retreads. So I kind of know. I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, it shouldn't bother you if you
don't watch it.
Not going to impact.
Don't.
It shouldn't impact.
We say it all the time with Trek. Yeah, with Trek, right? Like there's so many offerings of Star Trek. Different series, different films, different casts, all those things, different styles, animation, live action. There's something there for you, and we don't have to get so upset if something new doesn't exactly suit us. Go back, check it out if you want to. Go back and watch what you love and thoroughly enjoy that. It doesn't take away from it. I will say I was surprised, and as I watched it recently with my son again, like I said, I do wish they would, even though I love this film, I think it's terrific, I wish they would have done something different. I wish they would have gone a different route. That's my biggest beef with this film is you guys had the universe open up to you, and you went back to you. I feel like it was almost an easy button.
Yes.
And I wonder at the end of the day, like, how much of it was because JJ was like, hey, I want to do Khan because people love Khan, and like I want to Like, what did he call it? Like a love letter
could be that
to
simple.
it?
Yeah.
Or was it the studio, and how much was the studio saying, hey, you should do Con because that's going to get people in theaters? Like,
because that's the second film.
Yeah.
It's always been the second film. So
it's
there
the
you
second
go.
film, but if we say, oh yeah, Con's here, go see this movie because Con's here, not just some random guy, John Harrison, who's causing problems. And maybe that was, I don't know, like if it was a Paramount decision or a Skydance or whoever.
Yeah.
Could be all the above.
But yeah, you're right. It was kind of the easy thing to do. Like, oh, we should just have Con. Everybody loves Con. Okay. Where I would have been curious to see what could they have done with either a different villain or have him be someone different.
Or a different member of the augments that are out in space.
Or just, I don't know, just somebody else who's just out there to cause problems, but still have Benedict Cumberbatch as the bad guy. I don't know. And that could have worked too, maybe.
Okay. You talk about beef. And, we're on a high calorie diet here. So let's have a little beef from me.
Okay. Hit us.
The USS Vengeance. Okay. The thing about Star Wars is it's big, you make it bigger the next time and bigger the next time and bigger the next time. So he uses Khan to develop through Section 31 these weapons. And he builds a spacecraft that is twice the size of the Enterprise, with all these hallways and all these areas within it. But it can be crewed by a minimalist number of members, or even one. So if you're going to build such a big weapon, a big spacecraft, you think it would be filled with a lot of people. And to use up all that available space. That's always been, like my feelings, like size matters. Now, the Vengeance could have been just like the Defiant, a tough little ship. And it could have packed a
little.
wall. I know.
First contact. I get the reference.
It could have been that. And that would have been fine. But they had to make it bigger, so that I guess when it crashes into San Francisco, realizing the amount of destruction that it does in San Francisco, it's unbelievable. It's almost to some degree like they just went a little too big, too far.
Again, another ship crashing on a planet, causing havoc. I mean, the Enterprise D saucer section, again, it was just something that it looks spectacular. And if this was the first time we've ever seen something like this, sweet, But it's one of those things in this film where it's like, come on, guys, like we've seen this. It's a lot like, again, I want to remind our listeners and my good friends, Cris and Steve here, that I love this movie. I think it's terrific. I think it's especially terrific if we somehow lost all memory of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, or that film was never made, we'd be talking very differently about this film.
Yes.
I think every Star Trek fan would. So, that being said, I feel kind of the same way after a long period of time. Like I'm saying I saw the film, saw it again on streaming, or I don't remember if I went to the theater twice to see it. I may have. And loved it. Still love watching this film. But I kind of feel about this film in different ways like I do about Star Trek Nemesis, because that film was hyped up so much. There were things being portrayed in the television trailers like this generation Star Wars. The best Trek we've ever seen. And really, and John Logan, who's an Academy Award-winning scriptwriter, wrote the screenplay for Gladiator, for Beautiful Mind, has written some terrific screenplays.
Yes.
Is a good master storyteller. He did nothing but borrow from so many different Trek tropes to make Star Trek Nemesis. Then they put a director in there who didn't love Star Trek, who didn't care for it.
Who was the director?
Was it Brad Bird?
Brad Bird, which he's, I think he's an award-winning editor. a film, especially action films. That was kind of his niche. But he did, when you watch all the deleted scenes of Nemesis that are on the DVD, he took out the heart and soul of that crew when he edited out all of those deleted scenes that had all the character stuff, that had all the kind of humorous moments between characters and interactions that we love in our Star Trek characters and families. And I feel like with Into Darkness, again, even though I love it, I think it's terrific. If you can just forget about Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, it would probably be in my top 5 of Star Trek films. I think that the same feelings there. Now I'm repeating myself, but
you see,
I just no. But that your point is valid, Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Chris.
I want to touch on the Vengeance because that's kind of what led us there. And I think you're right. Like we've already seen a lot of we've seen the Enterprise crash on the planet, so it's like that wasn't so great. I feel like I'm of two heads. Where on one hand, I didn't love the Vengeance. You're right. It's a bit ridiculous. It's a little too big. It's a little much. But I also just loved how cool it looked when it comes in, when Enterprise is at warp and then the Vengeance shows up and starts shooting.
It's a beautiful scene. That's a great beautiful shot. Scene. Yeah.
And I love that. The thing I can't get past, the thing I had the hardest time with for that ship is like the fact that there's like, not hollow's not the right word. Where it's like you have the saucer, but then you have all this space in the middle of the saucer.
Yeah. I've got a little toy of it up here. Yep.
I can't not think about a bottle opener.
Exactly.
When I look at the ship.
And
I feel like somebody needs to make like a Vengeance bottle opener. And I'll buy it. So please, if you're out there, make it. I'll buy it. It'd be great. But it is a little ridiculous.
And
I love watching it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they get the big guns open up. It's going to blow it up. And I mean, that's a beautiful moment when Kirk turns to the crew and says, "I'm sorry." I mean, that's a great moment. But it didn't have to be. Again, the Death Star deploying its giant weapon, and then at the last minute, because one guy, Scotty, gets on board, has never seen this spaceship before. It's all new technology, but somehow he knows boop, 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 how to sabotage it, how to defeat it, how to make everything work with no schematic. I mean, come on, kids.
It's got great. You're absolutely right, Steve. It's got great. This film is filled with terrific stuff. I love him running down that huge long.
Yes, it's so silly.
Runway.
running.
Like just running and running and running. And it's got fantastic stuff in it. That whole sequence of them fighting their way through the ship and wondering if Khan is now turned on them and escaped. Yeah. And then him showing up, it has really terrific stuff. But again, even that, Steve, that scene you're talking about, we've seen that, like in other stuff. Like it's again nothing new under the sun. I get it, but
and I wonder too because J.J. Abrams, like in his heart of hearts, he's a Star Wars fan. That's his thing.
Yes,
and I feel especially with 2009, you can see a lot of Star Wars references, and I wonder. He's not just borrowing from Trek, but also borrowing from Star Wars. Why did I blank on that? But yeah, so I just feel like he's borrowing from everything. And that's definitely like the challenge with, we're going to have like a summer blockbusters. You got to have all the tropes. You got to have all the sabotage. Yeah. Logically, I feel fair.
Like
maybe Scotty was able to sabotage it because they were so focused on, we're just going to have bigger weapons. We're going to have, it's going to be faster, that everything else is going to be similar enough that your average, I shouldn't call him your average engineer, not trying to disparage Scotty, but just the fact that, he's familiar with starships because he's worked on one and he's part of, like, he's a Starfleet officer, that there might be some similar components where it's like, well, all Starfleet ships, if I do this and I hit that button, this happens. Maybe.
Something, Chris,
I feel like that was
a good defense of my argument, of my beef.
But it's a fair point, though, because he also has no knowledge of the ship. He just got there 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, and we don't even know how he stowed away. He just follows in all the other shuttlecrafts in,
And by the way,
and then
can I say,
go. You got a beef, I got a beef. Let's go.
It's not even a beef.
Bada
This
beef,
is just like
bada boom,
this is
baby.
a beef for us. We've spent the last, let's say, 47 minutes talking about this movie, and we haven't even talked about the great Buckaroo. Okay, what's his name? Buckaroo Banzai. We haven't talked
Peter
about
Weller. Yeah,
Peter
as
Weller.
Admiral Marcus.
He
fine.
is
Great addition. Yeah.
Yeah.
And very interesting, again, the timeline break. Because when you're in his office earlier in this, when they're in a conference room, and there's all the models, and you see the Kitty Hawk, and you see a Gemini spacecraft, and then you see the first design of a warp ship of the first Enterprise, and then you see the NX-01, and you see the you see the Phoenix, and and then dun dun dun, you get the Vengeance. It's the last model on his desk. So again, they tried to establish that everything that happened up until the point at the beginning of 2009 existed. It was at that point that everything changed. Right, and I think that that is part of that continuity that is needed. I mean, we even saw just a recent episode of Academy where you're inside the captain's quarters, and she's I can't who was the character picks up the little model of the NX-01, and you go, okay, these are simple little tie-ins that whatever existed in the past exists now. But in
the Deep Space Nine episode,
and I want to point out one thing that made me still makes me chuckle about this movie is that because Admiral Marcus is the head of Starfleet, he doesn't just have an office. The whole floor is his office.
It looks like it.
And I'm assuming because there's no door separating the desk from the conference room. So it's like that whole floor is his office. I'm like, man, that is wild. I want that. I really want those chairs.
Good to be the king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved him in the movie. I think what's interesting is Dill was watching it and immediately was like, this guy's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's up to something.
Especially
we can't trust. He looks like
especially says you spoke to him. Oh, expletive delete. It's like, why did you do that? Now you screwed it. Now you wrecked my plans. And he's so evil that he's ready to destroy the Enterprise to maintain his lie, as you say.
She felt this as soon as Kirk walks into his office and it's like, hey, we got to go do this. Oh yeah. I think you're right, Kirk. War is inevitable with the Klingons. We gotta stop them. And Dill was like, yeah, he's bad. He's definitely up to something. But he played it so well.
Back to General Jack D. Ripper from the film Dr. Strangelove, where he decides on his own, I'm going to start a nuclear war, and you better follow along because I'm taking the genie out of the bottle. I'm opening Pandora's box of you, and you're going to have to. I'm just, that's evil. That is excellent evil. Of course, he gets his head crushed. So, I guess that's.
I also just love his. Oh yeah, that scene.
You don't see it. You just hear it crunch.
You just hear it. There was one day I was shaving and I was had it on in the background and Dill was in the room and she was sort of watching and I'm like, hey Dill, you're going to want to not listen to this. She's like, what is he going to crack his head? And I'm like, yeah, just be careful.
He tried to do that to Spock on the little garbage scow, whatever those little things that were flying through the air.
So watch this film with my son. We do occasional sleepovers where we'll watch something in bed, and he's got a queen size bottom bunk, and so I'll just stay in there and sleep the night with him, and it's great fun. And we're watching that, and we're laying down. Next thing I know, he's got both hands on each side of my skull. Is like, son, I might not be able to sleep in here anymore, boy. If that's what you got on your mind, brother.
So, wait.
Anyways, that's I'd rather you Vulcan mind meld with me. Try that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Or even the neck pinch thing, it just.
Just
I do
knocked
like
me
the
out
fact that
first.
Spock did try the neck pinch on him, and it's like he goes, ah, but it don't work.
Yeah, but he's able to resist it. Yeah, there's two things I want to mention. One, I love Peter Weller's delivery of "We will run this bastard down." I can't remember the exact line.
Yeah,
but
I know exactly.
I love all of his
it.
dialogue in that conference room scene,
Mm-hmm.
and I love his dialogue.
Come on, boys, speak up if you got something to say.
I'm gonna say tomorrow may be too late.
Yes.
I can't think of the line where it's like, "Oh, will you park? You're gonna warp in. You'll park on like you park outside of Kronos. You lock on. You fire. You hit him. You haul ass." I'm like, I love all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I also really want to talk about the in the third act when the Enterprise is falling into Earth. Yeah, we've seen the crashes, we've already seen crashes and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like when they're trying to evacuate and all the stuff with the gravity that's happening, I think that is really special because we've never seen gravity fail on a ship quite like that. I think the closest we get is people floating around in 6, but I think that whole sequence is just gorgeous and just much fun to watch.
They're running on the side of they must have had the whole set on a gimbal that they could rotate it. If that was the case, they did that. So you had that great moment where they're running along the side of the wall or they have to jump across things. It added more tension to the moment of trying to get to where they had to be.
Mm-hmm. And Chekhov gets that heroic moment too during that sequence too, which is really great.
Oh, the arm strength. I don't know how that's physically possible. He was able to pull up both Kirk and Scotty, I think, at that point.
Both of them.
Listen, Cris. Some things, this is going to sound ridiculous, but some things you just got to let go, man. It just is what it is. But you don't want them to let go because they'll die, right? I mean, you know what I mean.
But he had to be heroic in that moment if he's the one who pulls them to both to safety, We don't have to see how they got up and over the railing and back on the... we didn't. We just know it happened, and that's good enough and well enough, right there.
And speaking of like that would terrify me. But I was saying to Dill, if I haven't been chased by someone who's trying to kill me, so I don't know if the instinct would kick in. But I feel like if I'm running and I'm told, "Oh, you got to jump off the cliff," I'm like, I'm out. I don't think I'm doing that. I'll take my chances.
Although, have you ever been chased by
people trying to kill me? I have not.
With spears, and you have no idea what they would do to you once they caught you.
Yeah,
I think you might jump. I think you might
jump. Yeah, I might jump.
I will say, one of my beefs with this film is also I've got two more for sure. Okay. But one of them is them in their spacesuits zooming over to the ship after they did that kind of a scene like that coming down onto the big drill in the first film. I kind of felt like it was an amazing action sequence. My son was all in. And he saw the 2009 film too. So to me, that's another thing. Come on, guys, you did this already.
Well, Kirk even says, I did this once. Anyway, no. Right. We've already seen the movie, so we know the reference. We don't have if he doesn't have to reiterate it one more time because we're smarter than that.
Yeah, and I feel like it was a really although technically probably very difficult to film and shoot and make all that look seamless. I mean, it's all out of space. I mean, outer space. It's a terrific looking scene. High intensity, very well done. But again, I felt like just another way they hit the easy button to get another action sequence. The second thing I want to talk about is Carol Marcus.
We haven't mentioned Carol Marcus.
She had a couple good lines in this, but I would have loved for them to flesh out her character a little bit more. And we wouldn't even talk about the underwear and the changing scene. Although I guess
the underwear
I just
thing
did.
Was weird.
But it was just my question, guys, is if by some miracle Paramount greenlights a fourth Kelvin Timeline film with these same actors, how would you feel about Kirk and Carol Marcus, them developing some of that relationship that they allude to in the
would be interesting. I will say this. Here's my two big beefs with Carol Marcus. One, I don't think she needed to be in this film, but I get she was. It was fine. And no disrespect to what's her name? Alice.
Alice.
Who plays her?
Eve.
Right.
Alice Eve. She did a good job. No disrespect to her. I will die on this hill. They should have cast. I can't think of her name. Modern Family, Phil's wife. That's Claire.
The actress who played Claire. Yes.
Plays Claire Dunphy. I think for whatever reason she looks like she could be a Carol Marcus. Like if they had cast her in 2013, or even if they come back with we're going to do the fourth movie, bring her. I feel like she would have been perfect. But yeah, the Carol Marcus thing was kind of weird. It felt like we brought in Khan, we got to bring in Carol Marcus.
Julie Bowen, I see it.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's her name.
Yeah. Okay, another beef as you want about her is that why does she have a British accent?
Yeah, that was weird.
I know that she must be a British actress, and why does she have a British accent when she's got an American father? Or Admiral Marcus is an American with an American accent. Okay, why is that? And then one of the big arguments people had with Beyond was if she was on the crew of the Enterprise at the end of the film, why wasn't she in the next film? She just kind of dropped off the earth, and they didn't explain why she wasn't in the third film. So that's so if you think there could be a fourth film, which is very much up in the air, and to bring your character back, you'd have to literally leapfrog an entire film to get to the next one. So
that was weird. I don't know why they didn't bring her back for the movie, like for the third one, and why she was British. That always kind of weirded me out. Like, okay, what was the point of that? The other brief I want to bring up.
Yeah, go ahead with another brief.
I love the Enterprise being underwater and how that was so cool. The ship rising up, all cool stuff. I don't get how they got there without being seen. Like, I know they might have gone in at night, but the ship has lights all around its hull. You're not going to see a massive thing going into the ocean. So I'm like, great. The ash cloud can conceal.
I was going to tell that old joke. They said, they're going to send a probe to the sun. You're going to send a probe to the sun? How can you send a probe to the sun? It's the sun. He goes, you'll get burned up. He says, no, we'll go at night. So I guess maybe they let in the ocean at night. Turn off the lights. Okay. Would you close the blinds, please? We're gonna go land in the ocean. Yeah.
It was cool. See, the Klingons had something with cloaking devices. They could give a rip about the Prime Directive, right? We've got the cloaking device.
Use cloak.
We're
gonna land in a park and hope nobody runs into that, because nobody runs in San Francisco Park.
By the
during
way,
the day or at night.
Right.
I mean, Golden Gate Park.
Yes.
That's one of the best jokes in Star Trek history, is that whole cloak bird of prey in the park.
Nobody sees it. Nobody runs into it.
I love that. I think that one of the greatest mistake Starfleet Command ever made was agreeing to not developing the cloaking device on their side. What a massive disadvantage and tactical error by Starfleet Command and the Federation to not agree to say, you know what, Klingons, that's stupid.
I think it was with the Romulans.
It was the Romulans.
Was it the Romulans?
Yes, the Romulans, going all the way back to Balance of Terror.
See how confidently I declared that, but I was dead wrong with my alien.
That's okay.
But Klingons are the other big ones that cloak. They are probably the cloaking. I shouldn't call them the cloaking race, but they're the ones we see cloak the most, I guess, more than the Romulans, because we see the Klingons more.
I love the Romulans in The Next Generation.
Yeah,
I think those are
the best.
I remember those being some of my favorite episodes of Next Gen when it originally aired, seeing the Romulans like that. But I think the Klingons cloak more famously than
that's a better way of phrasing that. But I think you're right.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they got there. I still like them rising up, and I like the idea of it being in the ocean.
It's a beautiful scene with the water
beautiful
coming
idea,
out of giant
but
nacelles. Yeah.
How did you guys get there?
Yes, that's a
What was the
great
plan?
question. It's a great question. Also, I want to touch real briefly about the whole swap of Kirk dying. I thought it for where they went with this. I thought that was a really well done scene. I felt
Yeah.
all the emotions of it. I thought it was a good decision to not have Spock be the one to do that. I think that was, if you're there, you've made this decision to do Khan. That was a good way to switch things around a little bit.
Yeah.
And the music is superb as he is climbing over that contraption and you realize what's happening. It is superb. You know,
I mean,
of course we know
kicking it into place a little bizarre, but it's okay.
I'm talking about the music, not the him
all
kicking.
right. The music is beautiful because there's no dialogue. It's just music as the action's happening. And you're right that sometimes let the music speak and not the words. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
But how did you feel about the Khan blood being magical and can heal anybody? That's where I'm kind of like,
I'll tell you right now, I accept that 100% because it was platelets. And I know the magic of platelets.
Right. That's fair.
I take that personally going, yes, platelets.
I can't believe you went there, Chris. I can't believe you did that, man.
I always want the joking. Like, I always want somebody to make a parody scene where it's just like taking famous scenes in Star Trek where people, like scenes that we know where people die, and just have them come back to the ship and be like, oh, good. Inject the blood. Oh, we're back.
Hey, I got some of that
Spock running out, jumping off a cliff, dying. Oh, we'll inject them with the blood.
We just synthesized Spock's Khan's blood and made it work. And again, the whole thing where, they're like, oh, he's dead. I can't. And then the Tribble goes, oh, by the way, I'm awake. It's like, it's a little coincidental.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah, and please
Star
ask
Trek
about
is
the Tribble.
famous. Star Trek is famous, and other sci-fi is too. Like, is anybody really dead in science fiction? Because there's always some way they can bring someone back to life if they really want to. So, what if we did a series of Star Trek? Maybe they can do shorts. Star Trek Paramount Plus. I hope you're listening. Maybe even J.J. Abrams himself, do a series of Star Trek shorts where the title is Star Trek, whatever number, the search for, and then you throw in names of Star Trek characters that have died. Star Trek 25, the search for Michael Eddington. Star Trek. You know what I'm saying?
I would go for that. Go for Olsen.
They should search for Wesley Crusher, even, for crying out loud, even though he hasn't
I think Wesley
died.
Crusher's alive and well in the universe.
Hey,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
relics.
But go search for him.
He's a traveler. He's good. I think he's well, but
maybe he's the one searching for everybody.
Or what about the search for the first officer in Voyager who dies because he ran when he should have braced for impact?
Okay,
I'm not going to let that one go.
We're going to come up with a new movie called Star Trek: Back from the Dead.
Back from the Dead,
and all the characters that died get to come back to life once more because we miss them so much,
And as my wife, when we were watching 2009, said today, why didn't Olsen pull his chute on time? He chose to not pull his chute, and then he died.
I liked Olsen.
Something to think about.
Poor guy. But that gave Scotty a chance to become the new chief engineer
Exactly.
Olsen was wearing a red shirt, wasn't he?
I felt like people laughed at that moment. I don't remember people laughing. In my head, they laughed because I'm like, hey, it's a reference to the red shirt thing.
Yeah.
Even though it was kind of
crazy
that he died.
Do we have any more beefs to beef about, or are we?
I don't know. We need to
out?
make sure we rate this, though, too. I'm interested in what you guys think about that.
Yeah, so let's go with the Brian Donahue 5-star rating system. Copyright Brian Donahue 2026. Got to update that all the time.
Speaking of Brian Donahue, what would you rate this?
I'm going to give it a very solid, enthusiastic, even with all the issues I have with it, I'm going to give it a solid 4 stars. I think it's got a lot going for it. Sure, traditional Star Trek fans have beefs. We've discussed them, but I think this film, if you can let go of that, this film is a lot of fun. It's got a lot of interesting stuff. It copies from different things, but hey, a lot of films do that. So I think it's a solid 4 stars in my book.
Brian Donahue, much like this movie, I'm going to repeat what you just said. Only we're not going to have it being con or something, but I agree with you. This is a solid 4. This is a solid 4 because it is truly entertaining. I don't remember where I put it in my top 13 or when we did that list, but I think I gave it up a little higher because watching again this time, I enjoyed it thoroughly. So I agree with you. It is a 4. It's a solid 4.
Yeah,
Chris?
For me, I would say it's a 4.5. I think I watch it like it's a 5 out of 5 because I go back to this a lot more than I go back to 2009. This is one that's in heavy rotation where I'm like, I'm not necessarily going to sit down and watch it from start to finish. I actually haven't done that in a long time with any Trek movies. I tend more to, if I'm commuting, I'll put it on and I'll just listen to it, or I'll listen to it in the car, or I might watch it while I'm shaving or doing other stuff. But I just find it so comforting. So I think I give it a 4.5, knowing a lot of its flaws, but I watch it like it's a perfect movie, even though, again, I know from the critical Trekkie hat, there's a lot of problems with this movie. The Vengeance, Khan being Khan, why is Khan here, and all those things. But I still have a lot of fun. And I pulled up my ranking, and I think I gave it a number, or I put it at number 7. So below a lot of the original movies.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to go back and look at mine too. I would say one more thing too. I do, in watching it recently with my son too, I do think it's a tad too long. I think that is one thing I wish they would. That action sequence of Spock chasing Benedict Cumberbatch in particular.
It's a long
and they're
fight
jumping
scene.
the cars like it's terrific visually. It's intense,
well done, but
very well done. Like I don't have a problem with the scene itself. I just think that the film dragged on just a hair too long. So that's one reason why I'm not going to give it a higher rating. It's also just a little too long.
Yeah, see, I find when I watch it, I will often skip all of the stuff on Chronos, and then I usually skip that last. Like I usually skip all the chase stuff. So we'll watch, and then when they get to the chase stuff, I'll fast forward and get to back to the Enterprise, and then skip again. Keep doing that because I just find the fights or the Spock chasing Khan through the streets of, is it San Francisco or London? San Francisco.
It's supposed to be San Francisco, which I'm sure people in San Francisco are very upset because San Francisco in the film was all shot in downtown Los Angeles, and Starfleet headquarters is the Getty Center in downtown in Los Angeles as well. So yes, we just kind of superimpose San Francisco in the background. And
I guess it's the Kelvin timeline for crying out loud. Why do they have to destroy
the Alcatraz? I mean, it survived hundreds and hundreds of years, and whammo, it gets wiped out. I mean, really,
just consider
all that tourism is gone.
You Americans are so lucky. I want to say you Americans and Californians, and Americans too, because New York. But just like, I want to see the CN Tower get destroyed. I don't want to get destroyed in real life. I'm a patriot. I love my country.
Yeah,
I want to see a cool action movie that takes place in Toronto, and oh my gosh, the CN Tower is attacked. The way we got to see the White House get destroyed, Independence Day. I want that moment.
The CN Tower can fall down, can somehow get destroyed, but fall down right on top of the Blue Jays Stadium, which is that's what I want to see right there.
Rude. Oh my!
I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that because.
Great organization.
You don't like the fact that they changed it to the Rogers Center. That was the Sky Dome, but then Rogers bought it out, and now it's the Rogers Center. So I agree with you, Brian. Thank you for raising that issue. That's very touching. That's very core to all of us.
I love my Canadians.
All right. Chris, take us home.
With all of that, thank you guys for another really fun discussion on the Big Sci Fi Podcast. take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Big Sci Fi Podcast. We're a proud part of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network, and you can listen to more of our over 150 episodes at trekgeeks.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel now. Until next time, live long and prosper.